Nick, what'd you make of everything? Did any of this surprise you?
This shocked me. I am shocked, and I can tell you a lot of people in league circles, from GMs to players to associates, are shocked that the Warriors have gone to this level to placate Kevin Durant. About 3 years ago, before Kevin Durant got to the Golden State Warriors, Draymond Green tried to fight Steve Kerr in the locker room in the midst of a 73-win season, tried to fight the coach. He didn't get suspended for that.
And it was a private fine, wasn't it?
He got fined, he got talked to, but didn't get suspended. Right. The fine's nowhere near the game check he's missing out on.
Right, the fine was held privately.
That's
what they said. They didn't announce how much it was.
Exactly right. And so, but this is costing him well into the six figures. That Draymond Green got suspended for hurting Kevin Durant's feelings. Draymond Green got suspended for using profanity towards Kevin Durant. And the only reason, the only logical path to follow is the Warriors, much like Kevin Durant is seemingly preoccupied with his free agency, are also, on a management level, preoccupied with his free agency and want to do everything they can to reach out to Kevin Durant and say, we got you, man. We're not going to let people be mean to you. We'll take care of that. I am surprised personally that once this had boiled over to this point, that Kevin Durant didn't go to management and say, do what you want, but don't suspend him, even if he was furious, because it would only, well, they don't need him against the Hawks, but it makes Durant look weak, it makes Durant look bad, and it makes this a much bigger story. This was going to be a one-day story. There was a blow-up on the bench. I knew a lot of shows yesterday talked about it. I didn't think we needed to because I didn't think it was a big deal. I think in pro sports this happens. Over a long season, guys get angry, they yell at each other, they're fine the next day. Durant's clearly still upset. Steph went to his house to try to calm him down yesterday, according to Marcus Thompson, The Athletic. But this is all about the Warriors, in my eyes, trying to make sure Kevin Durant knows, we need you, man, we love you, we got your back.
I think one part, too, we can't gloss over is yesterday, who went to Draymond's house?
Steph Curry.
Oh, because Steph was out of town.
Steph was not there. He was not on the bench because of the groin injury when this all happened.
Okay, so do you believe that Draymond would have done this to Steph?
No.
Okay, do you think he would have done this to Clay?
No.
Boogie Cousins just got there. You think he would have even done this to Boogie Cousins?
No. Can I add something, though?
Go ahead.
I also don't think any of those guys would have berated Draymond.
Okay, what do you consider berating?
When Kevin Durant went to the bench and was yelling, pass me the damn ball, when Durant didn't get the ball immediately, what started all this, and doesn't even go up court, and talk down to Draymond Green, I don't think those other guys would have done it.
Wait. Just because he continues to say, pass me the ball, that's talking down to Draymond?
Well,
after we already know that Draymond turned the ball over?
Just saying pass me the ball is not talking down to him. The way it's been reported, again, Marcus Thompson's got a good blow-by-blow. Draymond felt he was talking down to him, talking him to, quote, like a scrub who he could speak to like that. But I agree with you. Draymond wouldn't have called Steph, Clay, anyone on the team except for maybe Kerr and Durant what he called.
Well, whatever it was he said, Draymond responded with, who do you think you're talking to? It was enough where it felt like he was being condescending.
This is the thing. It wasn't just a condescending. Draymond already had a problem with KD before this happened. All right? It just boiled over, and Draymond was wrong. Typically, in a professional situation, a guy will analyze what happened. If I'm in that situation, I get the rebound. I react in natural time. They got 2 timeouts. Yeah. So part of it's Steve Kerr's fault. Yep. He didn't call a timeout. So we'll get to that maybe at some other point. I turn the ball over. The game goes into overtime. Now, we end up losing the game in overtime, but at that point when I'm going back, I'm like, man, I should have made a better basketball play. Now, it might have been passing to Kevin Durant, or it might have been something else. You have to be able to fess up for what you did. In that opportunity, they did not get a chance to be able to win the game. They didn't even get a shot. So Draymond's at fault for that. KD is not at fault for saying, I want the ball in that situation. And then when they get on the bench, it continues. Both of them continue. Draymond's talking to KD. KD's saying, I wanted the ball there. To me, that is not talking down to someone. That's actually just saying what really should have happened. You got the rebound. I'm right there. You should give the ball to me and let me try to finish him off. The problem is that as an organization, you have to do something to be able to protect KD. Man, this is a workplace. You watching the game, people forget about that. That on the sideline in the NBA, that's a workplace. You can't threaten someone. You can't call someone out of their name. It wasn't like he just called him a scrub or a chump. He used that 5-letter word that means a lot more. So I believe that they had to do something because it was not over with after the game. Draymond continued afterwards where he began to say, you know something, KD? I got a problem with how you're approaching free agency. So that's a different. It's not about the shot now. So it was a bigger issue already. Golden State had to intervene. You can say they were protecting KD, but as an employer, you have to be able to protect people and allow them to be able to do their job. And when Draymond continued with it, that's why he got suspended. That's why you have someone like Steph come to Draymond's house, because Draymond would not let it go.
Right.
And this will continue. This is not over with.
All right, so one thing you both touched on was the impending free agency. To both KD and to Draymond, how much of this is because, like you said, they want to protect him, but they also got Draymond's free agency coming up as well?
The players, everyone in the basketball world, except for Golden State fans, seem to recognize the very real reality that this likely is, Kevin Durant's last year as a Warrior. The players know that. Where the players' frustration is that Kevin Durant has just added fuel to that fire. Kevin Durant could have taken a lot of approaches, could have taken the approach LeBron had last year, which is, I'm not addressing any questions about this at all. He could have taken the approach that Kyrie did. Now, it might have been disingenuous, which is, hey, I love it here. I want to be here long term. There's a lot of things he could have done. Instead, he took the Dwight Howard approach when Dwight Howard was in Orlando Magic, which is adding more noise to it at every turn to where it is consuming the season.
All season, not just recently.
No, it was before the season.
Right.
He openly talked about what it would be like to be a Knick. He talked about these things. So, that is clearly rubbed a lot of his teammates the wrong way.
Yeah, but he has that. He has that right. When you brought him there for the first year, he has that right to be able to do that. So now all of a sudden you don't like what he's doing. And he's basically done the same thing in his first couple of years.
I think that's where the annoyance comes from his teammates, is that last year was is Kevin Durant going to stay with us tour? And now they're in part 2 of that.
Kevin Durant has a right to do what he wants to do. The reason why I didn't get upset when he left OKC and went there, because he had the right to do what he wants to do. To think that we're going to leave this conversation and think this is Kevin Durant's fault, I believe we're wrong at doing that. What did Kevin Durant do wrong besides call for the ball? From just pure basketball standpoint, we get the rebound. It's tie game. We got 2 timeouts. We decide we're going to get a better shot if we keep it moving. Draymond decides not to give me the basketball, turns the ball over, and I get in the huddle and say, you should have given me that ball. Tell me where Kevin Durant was wrong in this.
I'm not saying that Kevin Durant did anything wrong. What I'm trying to do is lay out for the audience why a simple on-court dispute boiled over to such levels. And where Kevin Durant, right or wrong, he has a right to handle his free agency however he wants. And the players on that team that have won a championship without him have a right to be rubbed the wrong way by it.
Yeah, and all those other players were drafted by Golden State. When you decide to go outside the family and you hire a hired gun, you're at the mercy of whatever he wants to do anyway. You can't convince Kevin Durant he should stay there for the rest of his career. His legacy in Golden State will never be the same as Steph, will never be the same as Draymond, will never be the same as Klay.
And I think that's where some of Draymond's frustration comes, right? Is we were great before you, and now you're now you're talking to me in some type of way. That strikes me as what happened with Draymond.
Draymond is sensitive. All right?
Sure.
In the first season, Kevin Durant was there. If they were in the same situation, Kevin Durant would have asked for the ball. All right? Now, would he have been wrong in year number 1? Oh, so now, because they've won a couple, so now he's wrong in doing that.
Does this affect, do you think, what management decides to do with Draymond Green, whether he wants to stay or not?
Listen, Marcus Thompson, I'm going to quote his article again because it's the most well-sourced article I've read on this, and he is a great reporter who covers this team. He put in that article that he thinks management will have discussions in light of wanting to keep Kevin Durant on about whether or not they should move Draymond Green. That would be a nuclear option. Now, Draymond Green also is going to want a contract that probably is going to make him overpaid as opposed to properly paid as he is now, which is a part of this as well. But there is the only thing that can beat, the reason to me this is such a big story is the only team that can beat the Warriors is the Warriors. And Klay Thompson, who never says anything, said as much in the locker room, right? What's the quote, Jenna?
I literally just wrote it down. The only team that can beat us is us.
And he says said, so let's go kick some ass. Like, that was Clay. Clay tried to diffuse the situation by speaking, which is not what he normally does. But the only team that can beat them is them. And now there's a bit of a fissure. It was the same thing with those Lakers teams. The only team that could beat Shaq and Kobe were Shaq and Kobe, and they beat themselves.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from First Things First, or go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.